Smoke rises, not from fire but from friction. The friction of years of being silenced colliding with the moment. You finally speak, and the world has to listen. It twists through the air like a signal, curling higher until it's impossible to ignore. Your name is no longer a whisper in the corner. It's a flare in the night sky, burning so bright it stains the darkness. The same idea they called foolish, the same dream they called delusion, is now a headline, not because they want it there, but because they can't take it down without burning their own hands. This isn't chance. This isn't a miracle. This is the aftermath of the war you fought alone. Every scar you hid, every hour you bled in silence, every step you took while the ground tried to swallow you whole, it all led to this. Your insane theory just went public. Now the headlines can't shut up about you. That isn't just a statement. It's the sound of chains snapping. It's the sudden rush of air into lungs that were drowning. It's the world catching up to the truth you already knew. And tonight I'll take you inside that moment. From the shadows where your voice was nothing but an echo, to the day the echo became a roar. They couldn't silence. This isn't about proving them wrong. This is about becoming unforgettable. They laughed once, loud, careless, sharp like a blade dipped in mockery. They looked at you the way people look at a puzzle. They think they've already solved without ever touching the pieces. And you stood there still, swallowing the burn in your chest, like a secret only you were strong enough to keep. But deep inside, something ancient turned its head and opened its eyes. That laugh, it wasn't a joke, it was fuel. The kind of fuel that doesn't burn out but burns through. You didn't clap back. You didn't throw your truth at their feet, begging for scraps of belief they'd never hand you. No, you let them have their moment. Let them dance on what they thought was your. Let them mistake your silence for surrender. You knew the rules of this game. Never show them the fire before the match is struck. Patience is not just waiting. It's loading the chamber and smiling while they walk into rain, while they spent their nights laughing at your crazy theory. You spent yours building, brick by brick, in rooms they didn't even know existed. The walls heard your heartbeat. The floor knew the weight of your footsteps. And the air carried the whisper of a storm they couldn't feel yet. And then, one day without warning, your silence became their silence. Their laughter, gone. Their certainty shaken. Their eyes wide with something they'd never admit out loud. Fear. They realized the punchline wasn't you. It was them, believing you'd never come back. You didn't just come back. You rewrote the stage, burned the script, and left them standing in smoke with your name carved in the sky. There's a room no one talks about. Not because it's locked, but because they're terrified of what breathes inside. It's not made of bricks or steel, it's made of silence. And silence has teeth. This is where they left you, thinking the dark would swallow you whole and spit out your bones. But you didn't vanish. You adapted. In that blackness, the air felt heavy, pressing against your ribs, like it wanted to break you just to hear the sound. The walls whispered doubt, over and over a mantra of quit, stop, you can't, but you stayed. You stayed because Leaving meant crawling back into their world empty-handed, and you refused. You refused to be another name on their list of the broken, another ghost wandering their halls. At first, the dark feels like a coffin. Every thought echoes too loud, every memory stings too sharp, every heartbeat feels like a countdown. But then, something changes. Your eyes adjust. You start seeing shapes they can't, hearing movements they'll never notice. The darkness stops hunting you and starts teaching you. It teaches you how to move without noise, how to see without light, how to strike without warning. Time moves differently here. Days blur into nights, nights into years, and in that endless stretch, you become something unrecognizable to them. You stop chasing their approval. You stop needing their applause. You realize that in the absence of their noise, you can finally hear the rhythm of your own war drum. And when you walk out, because you will walk out, you'll carry the dark with you, like armor. You'll move through their bright, shallow world like a shadow they can't predict. A shadow that knows every blind spot, every weakness, every place their arrogance left exposed. They'll think you just appeared overnight. They'll never know the years you spent sharpening your mind in the black, training your will like a weapon, forging a version of yourself that could survive what they couldn't even step into. Maybe that's the sweetest part. Knowing they couldn't last 1 hour where you built your empire brick by invisible brick. The dark didn't break you. It crowned you. And now every time you see fear in their eyes, you'll know they're not afraid of the light you found. They're afraid of the darkness you still carry in your hands. Every word they threw at you was meant to slow you down. Every smirk, every whispered insult, every public humiliation, all of it was designed to bury you under the weight of their certainty. But here's the trick they didn't understand. Doubt isn't poison, not if you know how to drink it. At first, their voices stung like glass in the bloodstream. You felt every syllable cut, every you can't grind into your bones, like it was trying to write the end of your story. But you didn't swallow it whole. You distilled. You boiled it down until all that was left was energy. Pure, dangerous energy. You stopped needing their belief. You stopped waiting for applause. You took every ounce of venom they dripped into your skin and turned it into muscle. You learned that pain, when aimed correctly, is a jet engine. Doubt became the match. Your willpower became the gasoline. Together they burned so hot that even the coldest nights couldn't put you out. You began to crave it. The disbelief, the insults, the sideways glances, because now you knew exactly what they were worth. You knew that each one was another gallon in the tank, and the more they poured, the further you would go. There's a point when you realize they're not attacking you because you're wrong. They're attacking you because you're a threat. Their doubt isn't about your weakness. It's about their fear. Fear that you'll prove them irrelevant. Fear that your vision will outlast theirs. Fear that their world is too small to contain you. And when you finally see that, their doubt stops being a weight and starts being a weapon. You carry it, you swing it, you make it the edge they'll never see coming. Every no becomes a map of where to hit next. Every laugh becomes the soundtrack to the chaos you're about to unleash. By the time they realize what's happening, it's too late. The fuel has already ignited. The engine's already roaring, and you're moving too fast for them to even see the shape of you. They'll try to keep up, but all they'll see is the smoke in your wake and the headlines that prove them wrong. in bold, screaming letters. Doubt didn't kill you. It didn't even slow you. It built you into something hungrier, sharper, harder to stop. And the beautiful thing is, they'll never know they were the poor architects of their own defeat. It happens like a whisper that somehow sounds louder than thunder. One moment, they're still laughing in their small, safe rooms, and the next, their walls are shaking. Your theory, your so-called madness, isn't hiding anymore. It's everywhere. It's headlines, conversations, gasps in boardrooms they swore you'd never enter. The first wave is disbelief. They scramble, clinging to their version of reality, trying to push the truth back under the rug. But truth doesn't crawl backwards. Once it slips through the cracks, it spreads like ink in water, unstoppable, staining every place it touches. And oh, how it touches everything. Their confidence begins to buckle. You see it in their posture, the way their voices crack when they try to dismiss you. They don't realize it yet. But they're speaking softer now, measuring their words as if you're already in the room. You've always been. They just didn't have eyes sharp enough to see you. The shift isn't gentle, it's violent. It doesn't knock politely, it kicks the door off the hinges and announces itself. Every smug smile they ever threw your way turns into a frozen mask, because deep down, they know there's no going back. No erasing this, no pretending you didn't just set the sky on fire. They try to adapt, to act as if they always supported you, always saw it coming. They rewrite their history while the ink is still wet. But you remember every page of the old script. You remember their smirks, their dismissals, their little jokes about your delusion. And you keep smiling because now they have to live in the world you built without their permission. The headlines aren't just stories, they're verdicts. Every word printed is another nail in the coffin of their doubt. Every interview, every quote, every statistic screams the same confession. We were wrong. They hate it. It tastes like rust and ashes in their mouths. But they can't spit it out. The world is watching, and the world is listening to you. There's a strange silence in victory. You're not screaming. You're not celebrating. You just stand in the middle of the storm you unleashed, feeling the weight of what you've done. You didn't just win, you rewired the system. You didn't just prove them wrong. You made sure they'd never forget. They underestimated you. And now, the shift is permanent. They can't reverse it. They can't unsee. You've crossed that line, where your presence becomes unavoidable, where your name becomes the kind they speak with caution. They can't cage you anymore. And the best part is, you never even needed their keys. When the dust finally settles, most people breathe easier. They relax. They think the fight is over. But you're only just beginning. Because now, this isn't survival. This is territory. And territory belongs to the one bold enough to claim it in daylight and defend it in the dark. You walk through spaces you once only dreamed about. Your footsteps echo differently now. Not as an intruder, but as the one the room waits for. Faces turn when you pass, not in mockery anymore, but in calculate. They're measuring you, weighing the cost of crossing you. Every corner of this battlefield holds the ghosts of your old battles. You see the spots where you bled, the cracks where your hands shook, the shadows where you almost burned. But now, those same places are monuments, proof. They remind you that the ground you stand on was 1 inch by inch, and every inch cost more than anyone watching will ever understand. You don't need to shout for dominance. Power doesn't live in the throat, it lives in the spine. The steady gaze, the calm way you sit while others scramble. You've learned that control isn't about noise, it's about presence. And your presence now, it's a storm disguised as still water. They come to you differently now, some with offers, some with apologies, some with nothing but fear in their eyes. You listen, but you never forget, because the battlefield isn't just where you fight, it's where you remember. Every handshake is wet, every promise is dissected, every alliance is temporary unless it bleeds loyalty. Your victories are no longer about proving them wrong. That was the old hunger. Now you're here to build something they can't, to create a structure so unshakable that their disbelief turns into obedience. This is no longer a war for recognition. It's a war for permanence. And permanence demands discipline. You guard your moves like secrets carved in stone. You take risks they can't predict, because unpredictability is your greatest weapon. They can prepare for the you they think they know, but not for the you you've become. The battlefield is yours, not because they gave it to you, but because you took it when they thought you were too broken to stand. And here's the truth they'll never say out loud. They respect you more in silence than they ever would in prayer. They thought this was the end. They thought headlines fade, storms pass, and people forget. But you've turned yourself into something they can't erase. Not a trend, not a moment, a monument. The scars are still there, etched deep under the skin, but now they're armor. Every cut, every wound, every betrayal has been reforged into steel. You are not the same person they dismissed in the shadows. That version of you died quietly, so this one could be born in thunder. You've stopped chasing their approval. It's worthless now. You don't seek their applause. It's empty. You've learned that the loudest recognition is silence. The kind where no one dares speak against you because they've seen what happens to those who try. They avoid your eyes now, as if afraid they'll see themselves reflected in them, the weaker version they used to be, the liar, the doubter, the coward. Your presence is a mirror they can't stand to look into for too long. The game has shifted for good. You're not just playing it, you're shaping it, bending it, owning it. Your every move rewrites the rules. Your silence is heavier than their speeches. Your smallest step shakes the ground more than their loudest march. You stand where you once crawled. You build where you once begged. You lead where you once followed. The battlefield is quiet now, but it's your quiet. It's the quiet of a king surveying what's his, not the quiet of defeat. They can't destroy you because you've learned the oldest secret of all power. Isn't about being untouchable, it's about being unkillable. They can strip you of things, but they can't strip you of what you've become. They can't unmake the legend you've carved into their minds. And here's the truth they'll never admit. They need you now. They need your vision, your fire, your storm, even as they hate. You've become the crack in their foundation, the force they have to work around. And the best part, you don't need them. Your name is no longer just a headline. It's a warning, a story, a weight. And you carry it not as a burden but as a crown. You've walked through every fire they built for you, and you came out holding the matches. This is your final act, but not your ending. It's the moment the curtain drops for them and rises. You've proven what they feared most, that you never needed their permission to win.